Okay, so we are live. Today we'll be doing a news roundup. And because this is a news roundup, I think we should have a disclaimer, and that is that everything that we are going to say here will be our opinion most of the times. And if these are facts, then we'll state it as facts and also the sources, but majority of the times it'll be our opinions. So I have some headlines and I have Ayush and Dheeraj to discuss on that. So I don't think they'll be knowing the headlines. So it'll be an impromptu sort of thing. I'll tell you the headlines. If you don't know about it, I'll describe you the news and then we'll see what opinions we have or we'll see how the discussion goes. Okay, so I think we are recording it at a very good time because it's Mother's Day. But as some people are calling it, Birthing People's Day. So this is one news.
What?
Birthing People's Day. So this is coming from the left majorly. The thing is that we are trying to use gender inclusive words, or we are trying to change our vocabulary so that we don't offend anyone because the gender spectrum is very wide. So now instead of
Okay.
as Mother's Day, people have decided to call it
Right.
Birthing People's Day. How fair is this?
I don't know.
I think only women can give birth. I don't know why this.
Yeah. I don't know why this term is being used. It doesn't make any sense.
But I think there was a man, but I think it was a trans woman who had gave birth, but again it was a trans woman.
I heard about this somewhere, but that a man was pregnant, but it later turned out that he was a woman when he was pregnant, and he did a sex change operation at the time when he was pregnant. I'm not sure how credible how real this is, but I heard about it sometime. Yeah.
No, it is real, but yeah, the fact is it was a trans man, so he had transformed into
Trans
a woman.
woman. I think it's called a trans woman.
Trans man, because he was a woman and he transitioned into a man.
Extremely sorry if I misquote or mispronounce anything. Please don't
But
come at
people
me.
are defending this by saying that this is gender inclusive. So that is why using birthing people instead of women's or mothers, instead of mothers actually, is more apt. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I also don't think so. But
What is the
up to
argument
you.
exactly?
The argument is that we have to use words or vocabulary that are gender inclusive so that we don't offend anyone. For example, we have gender pronouns and there are a lot of terms that are changing. For example, for breastfeeding, now lactation consultants are saying chest feeding,
What?
not breast. So instead of breastfeeding, consultants are saying chest feeding.
Okay. And how is that inclusive?
So that if there is a man who can feed, I don't know how he can feed milk to his baby from his chest.
The
but
lactation is a female exclusive process, I think.
exactly, same
You
thing
think?
was
Yeah. Okay.
giving birth to. I don't know how saying birthing people is gender inclusive, but that is the argument.
I don't see how it is inclusive. I mean,
This caught fire because in a recent house hearing meeting, a black woman, I think it was Corey Bush, she said that she was talking about how black mothers are facing a lot of health issues and that's why their children are dying. And there she used the word birthing people, black birthing people. So many people, so she has faced a lot of backlash, but then people are also supporting it by saying it's gender inclusive.
I think I heard this before, that more babies are dying, more black babies are dying right now than they did in slavery. I think I heard Kanye West say this.
Where in a particular
In America,
region?
in America, I think.
Only in America.
I think.
This news is from America.
Okay.
This particular
I didn't
news.
know about this. The source is only Kanye West. Kanye West is the only source of this particular news.
That more black babies are dying right now than in the slavery period.
Yeah.
My only source.
Okay. Let me just check once.
And she was also pissed, Corey Bush. She was saying that you are not focusing on my major concern, which was that black children are dying or mothers are facing issues, and you're instead focusing on the term that I've used. But I don't think anyone can justify that term, so ends there. But still, it's being used. The only argument is it's gender inclusive.
I just don't understand how it's inclusive. Like, how does it help anyone help anyone facing discrimination or anything?
Right, because I think women are special and they have some special and unique characteristics, which also includes giving birth. And now, if we call it as birthing people, I don't know.
So the argument is like
Yeah, we should
males can
use
also be
gender.
mothers.
Yeah, we should use gender inclusive terms because anyone can be a mother. Not mother, anyone can give birth. But as far as I know,
Point.
I only know seahorses that wherein male will
Yeah,
give birth.
I
I
don't
think
know if calling it birthing day is logical or not. I don't see anything good coming out from it. It's just, I
i-
don't know.
if the argument is that males can also be a mother figure, like that I can see that, like there can be a single father who has to, you know, teach
Yeah,
his daughters
right.
like
But
nurturing side of, yeah.
correct. But ultimately, it's they are a mother figure. Then they are not birthing people because they haven't given birth.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Ki how is birthing? So this is not inclusive according to me. Like
Exactly.
it's, yeah.
I think anyone that listening and they think that this is right, I really want them to come and comment or come on our podcast and talk about this. I don't think we have anyone, but still, because there are people who are supporting this. I don't know why. What is the logic apart from this? Let's see.
Anybody
Right.
from the social sciences, if anybody's listening, we'd love to have a discussion. Please.
So I think we all agree here that this is not in any way supporting anything.
True. What else? What else is happening?
Yeah. So I think we can very swiftly move from this topic. The other is I'll
Yeah,
come
very
back to
swiftly.
our nation. It's one thing is, and everything that we are right now talking about India is in line with COVID. So anything happening in and around India will be related to COVID. So one is the IPL is postponed, which is a sad news for a lot of people. Not even postponed,
Yeah,
I think it's suspended. It's cancelled.
it's it's suspended indefinitely, right? We don't know when it will continue
Right.
or if it will continue.
I don't like understand how IPL was ever allowed.
Exactly. That is the main
Like
question.
small businesses are supposed to shut down, and IPL can go on. Like
Yep.
I think Ambani's son made a tweet
Mhm.
that what is essential. He asked this question, and I think it's very important that we ask this right now. Like, what is essential exactly?
Right.
Right.
Because it's very subjective for like if you're thinking about the whole human race or you're thinking about individuals, it's very tricky subject,
Exactly.
I
Because you
think.
have to ultimately stand by one thing. You cannot say that we'll shut down economy, but then we'll let things like this continue.
True.
Yeah, true. But don't you think, man, it is a little bit hypocritical that last year, when the whole of the world was on shutdown and the football leagues were started after 2 months,
Mhm.
and mainly in Europe, and most of the Europe was really badly struck by COVID last year, and nobody had these questions, right? Everyone was happy that the football league is starting because the thing is that is a sport. The players live in a very the players usually do live in a bubble,
Yeah. So right. So this is the other
right?
side and
So that they would be contained in a bubble.
bio bubble. Yes. Right.
They are not affecting anyone else, and actually, yeah, they were not thinking about this reason, but I think the IPL really helped out a lot of people. They had something to look forward to every night. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
It is a very big source of entertainment after all.
And also money. But I think we are talking about IPL
Yeah,
only and not about any European football leagues because we
yeah,
had
only
many
in
questions
IPL.
on
Yeah, so only in IPL.
it.
Of course, they were not thinking about the general public's entertainment. They were looking after their money, but it also the the entertainment is a byproduct of that, right? In the time when no one can go out of their house, they have something to look forward to every night. IPL, it happens every night, right? Like for 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and the set of players which are playing are not really affecting anyone else.
No, I get it. I think that I am a little bit biased here because I love football and not cricket, so I know where it's coming from. But I think we talk about things when they fail. I know it's a negative thing to do, but that is how it
And
is. And this
yeah,
bio bubble has actually failed because now players are getting positive.
yeah. So how they may not have executed it properly, and there was a risk if you are going to play. Uh, let's say there is a team of what 23 players.
Mhm.
Every team has 23 players and the staff members. So even if two teams play, there are a total of 8 teams, and two teams play at the same time. There is going bound to be someone who is going to break the rules of the COVID restrictions. There might be someone, and some players may get affected. There was the risk all the way along. They have not executed it properly, but I don't think it's right to say that the IPL should not have started. I know, I understand that it is not under essential business or anything, but
I
I
I'm
don't know.
not I'm not against IPL going on. I just think it is unfair to small
Yeah, it is
businesses that
unfair.
small
It is totally
businesses who
unfair.
have to shut down because I heard this somewhere, I don't know where, but 60% of the small businesses that shut down are not going to reopen now. And people like playing what, like how does playing cricket helps the economy in any way? Like if you're saying there's a psychological advantage
No,
now.
not psychological,
Also,
just pure entertainment purpose.
and
Yeah,
actually,
That's
so
it
what I was
brings in a
saying.
lot of money. I don't know how it helps us, but it indirectly brings in a lot of money. For example, BCCI earns a lot through IPL, a lot from
I can imagine.
sponsorships, from viewerships. For example, I this is the news that now that this is postponed or let's say suspended indefinitely, BCCI is going to lose more than 3,000 crores because of this.
Right.
More than 3,000 crores. And in 2020, they gained 4,000 crores from IPL.
4,000 more, or like this
Total
the
4,000
total
crores.
turnover?
Total turnover.
Okay.
4,000 crores.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they must have lost a lot of money too in 2020 because there were no fans in the stadiums, right?
No, they gained
The
4,000.
revenue, they gained 4,000 crores
Uh,
No,
only from
I
the
think he's
viewership.
asking. I think Ayush is asking, did they lose more than usual? Like
Yeah,
no,
they
I think the
didn't make
number
they
as
must
much.
have
number
lost more than.
4,000 is the profit. This is I'm not
Okay.
sure if this is the turnover or the profit, but I think this is the profit because wherein the place where I read it, it said that they gained 4,000 crores from the IPL in 2020.
Okay,
So I'm
okay,
guessing it's
okay.
profit, and that is why they did it in 2021 also. Otherwise, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, the money is a big factor. I always say that the the people who are in the 0.0000001% who run everything, they
Mhm.
do not care about anything else than money. They do not care about our entertainment or anything. They only care about the money. And by that by that point of view, yes, it is unfair that the small businesses are not allowed to run, and the IPL was allowed to run, and the owners got a lot of money. But I can only see it as it's sport, right? It gives you a lot of entertainment, and if you have something to look forward to at the end of the day, every day, then yeah, it should be allowed.
Yeah, right. If you see
That's
from that viewpoint, if you see sports only as entertainment, then I think it's fair because then you don't care what's happening. You just want to
right,
enjoy when that's on, and that is what we actually do.
right.
No, but the whole question was, I think, the timing thing, which I so right now a lot of things are happening, which may be right, but I think the timing is very wrong. So that is why the questions are arising. For example, I don't know if IPL was considered as an essential service or not, but there is one thing, and this was started a lot before. I don't know how we haven't heard about this. So this is Central Vista Redevelopment Project. So do you guys know
Hmm.
anything about this?
A little
No
bit,
idea.
not much.
So this is a project that has been undertaken by our government. So they're trying to rebuild or revamp the entire structure of our parliament and things in and
Right.
around that.
Yeah, I heard. I heard. Yeah.
So this started in 2019 or 2020, but I don't know who covered it and who did not. But right now it's causing an uproar because again the timing. because a lot of money has
Mhm.
been pumped
So the
in.
work is
A
still
lot
going
of
on.
workers are working there. I don't know how again. This is
I
sad.
don't know that it's not fair. So were they working in 2020 when
Yes,
the
because it
first
started in
lockdown was?
2020. This project is very old. This
Yeah.
was, I think, approved in 1990s or early 2000s, but no
Yeah.
government actually started it. And now the current ruling government, they started it, and this was
Hmm.
decided in 2019, but the actual development started in December 2020 and
December
still
2020.
ongoing. Yes, and still ongoing.
Okay. So there was no development going on and the first lockdown was instituted, right? So only in December 2020.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
think.
still
Uh, uh,
not it is not fair. I
that is the
mean
thing, and
those
one more thing is, I
workers.
don't know how no one covered it, because I saw this when a British newspaper published it, and
Really?
Britishers had to publish it because the old structure that was built under British Raj. So there is a logic
Okay.
that they might be pissed that now it's being restructured, but they publish, and then I got to know that something like this is happening. And
Yeah,
by the way, they
I don't.
used very harsh words for our prime minister. Very harsh.
Yeah.
Britishers?
What did they say?
For example, the words were, wait, I had that article. I was actually
Okay. So
laughing
what
about
do you
it.
think about this, Dheeraj, while he's looking for the article?
Yeah.
Um, Again, I am not against economical activities going on while there is a pandemic because, but this is again unfair to a lot of the small businesses that are being shut down, but like some other projects are being opened. So I think everything should, because this sounds very wrong, but let me explain. If
Hmm.
somebody has diabetes, right?
Yeah.
In this pandemic, it has nothing to do with the pandemic. Diabetes is treatable, but their
Yeah.
livelihood is shut down. So are you willing to like rule out the solutions that already exist for smaller problems to avoid a
I don't
problem?
understand what does diabetes and
So if somebody has diabetes, right,
uh,
they can treat themselves. There's a chance, but they need resources for that,
Mhm.
right? So like for stopping a problem for which we don't have a solution yet, we are creating more problems that can be resolved, but we are not letting people resolve them.
I think the main thing is you'll have to decide what's causing more harm, the economic shutdown or the thing that's happening because of COVID pandemic. And by the way I see things, I think it's the COVID pandemic that's more dangerous. But again,
yeah.
when you see activities like this, the one that we're discussing, then obviously it raises a question: what exactly are we prioritizing? But again, so okay, I got the word. By the way, this was published in Daily Mail, a British newspaper, and there were some
Hmm.
words like India's narcissistic prime minister, shameless demagogue.
What?
I think you have to be a little narcissistic to like win elections, especially in a third
Yeah.
world country. How
In
arrogant it is to
any
wake
in
up.
any
Yeah,
in
exactly.
any country, you
How
have to be narcissistic and arrogant to think that you can lead a country.
exactly, like you wake up one day and say, Ki, let's okay, I want to rule this country. Like
Yeah.
I don't belong to the kings who ruled this years before that came. And I'm not talking about like being from political family. I'm
Mhm.
saying like being royal, being of royal blood. It's very arrogant to say that. I think it's a little narcissism is necessary for being a leader of a country.
We are not criticizing the plan actually, because there are, for example, the opposing parties. They're criticizing the entire plan, but that is where hypocrisy comes in, because even they had agreed to it before. So that is not where the problem is. I think again the problem is the timing. So they can, I think, put a pause on this for a while, but that's not happening, and no one's actually covering it, which is also a major concern.
Mhm.
So the project may
Right.
be right. You have to revamp it. That's fine. But
But
yeah,
how? But if you want to revamp the economy, you have to open up. I think you have to open up everything, like no matter how bad things get, because people cannot. If people cannot afford the treatment, how do you expect them to like get back on their feet when they already have something they cannot bounce back from?
Yeah, so what they say, I mean, the ruling government says that which is why they have allocated more and more money to the healthcare sector than to these projects. For example, if this project has been given 20,000 crores, then it's more than 3 lakh crores for the health sector. So that is why they say that we are actually prioritizing health sector and this pandemic.
Hmm.
So we are
Yeah,
not
I guess
actually
that's fair
turning a
too.
blind eye to it. So that
Because
is what their explanation is. So same thing for IPL. I don't know how fair these things are, but two school of thoughts.
What do
And
you
just
think if Congress was in charge? What would they do? Like, would they shut down even harder, or they'd open up the economy?
I don't know, man. It's really
I
hard.
think they won't do anything that was. I think they won't take a big step, because that is the only thing I admire for this government is they are taking huge and big steps, even though sometimes they are wrong. For example, like for times like these, the timings are wrong, but they are able to take bold decisions. I don't think Congress was able to do that.
What
So
is a
if it
bold
was,
decision?
for
What
example,
bold decision?
for example, the Uri attack, and for now completely shutting the entire economy, which I don't think Congress would have done. I don't know if that was better or not, but it was a bold decision to make.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying they are
This,
making right decisions. I'm saying they are making bold decisions, which Congress would
Are
have
you,
not.
are you like up to date with what they are saying right now about shutting down the economy?
I'm not taking any sides, but you can explain that because they knew that they were not going to win. But
Mhm.
winning for BJP in West Bengal was very important. I'm not saying they should that whatever they did, what all the rallies that did, they were right. But Congress it was easy. So I won't consider it as a sacrifice. I think if Congress was in BJP's position, then they would have continued with the rallies. So it's not just BJP that's wrong, everyone's wrong. But obviously, if BJP was on the other side, obviously, I think BJP would have also postponed or held a pause on their rallies. But anyway, they should have done it now also. But that doesn't mean that Congress was nice because they had nothing to lose to talk about Congress or any other party.
Mhm.
But the BJP, but it was wrong. That is the thing. They could have and they should have paused the rallies or not conducted any, or I may have done it online if that's possible. I don't know. So that is, I think,
Mhm.
things they're doing are coming at very wrong timings. The timings are very wrong.
yeah.
The religious gatherings, the rallies, the projects like these, and they have
Right.
explanation for everything. So and also a problem is that they're not admitting. They have explanations and excuses for all these things.
I just don't think this is fair to the smaller business. That's just my point. I don't mind anybody minding their own business, even if it harms other people. So like this view that I have to sit inside because I can affect other people is very, in my opinion, very totalitarian and communist point of view, because like using fossil fuel affects other people. So should we shut down using cars? Like everybody should start using the buses and
But I
public
think
transfer
that's
for that.
very different from this pandemic.
How?
The mortality rate and with the speed it's increasing. I'm guessing
Okay.
it's increasing because we can't really trust the numbers, but I'm guessing it's increasing, and that is not fair.
It is definitely increasing. It is definitely increasing. The cases are increasing every day, at least in India, right?
Hi,
Hmm.
India, it is, but again, the sources
And
are so dicey that even on the sure things, I doubt myself because I don't know how original they are. But yeah, seeing things happening around me, I can say that it's increasing, but only because it's happening around me. So I don't know what's actually happening.
see, the last year, we were hearing news about Corona affecting people, yeah, but we didn't know any of the people.
Right, right.
We personally knew very few, and I personally did not know anyone in my knowledge that who had been affected by corona. But in the last 3 months, I know a lot of people who had been affected by corona who had been tested positive for corona, and I know people who are no more alive because of corona. So I know the number. I can see the trend here, and I believe the numbers is rising. The mortality rate, the corona is more effective right now. Hmm. Killing
And
people.
also, the thing is, same shit gets real when it happens to you. So
Yeah,
if that's not happening.
that's
But I think
that's
Dheeraj, you think that the numbers are actually they are actually cooking up the numbers, and the original numbers are way
So,
less.
like the point Ayush said, I'm also seeing more people in my knowledge, in my vicinity, who are getting affected.
Mhm.
Absolutely, that's true. But so I agree that the number of cases are rising, but I think when money is involved and humans, there has to be something shady going. That's just how I think. I don't like trust human beings with money a lot, and especially healthcare, because healthcare and education is just the biggest influx of non-stop money that you can imagine. I can imagine. So I think the cooking of numbers is real. Like there's no way that cannot be, because
see. I
corruption.
wouldn't be surprised if you what you are saying is true. If later down the years it is revealed that the numbers were cooked, I won't be surprised with that. But right now, I don't think so. It really happened. It
No,
is really the case.
I'm not saying that it isn't like corona isn't affecting more people right now. There isn't a
Mm-hmm.
second wave, but I think
Mm-hmm.
just in general, I'm not talking about the trends here. I'm just saying the cooking has always been there. Like since the corona is here, the cooking has been there. That's what I think.
But
Right,
majority
right.
of the people say that it's actually that the government is downplaying the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'll think as well, because if there's a like disaster like Chernobyl happened, they
Mhm.
I think they had to downplay, like reduce the numbers and the casualties, just to make themselves look good or not so bad. But then not the government, but individuals who are looking out for themselves.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You give them aid for like okay, so for every bit of radiation, like people get this, people get that, and there are a lot of like everywhere there are radiation measurers. I don't know if I make a sense. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if that happens and like humans are getting like there is an advantage to defect, I think humans will for their personal gain.
Mhm. Right.
That's I think
Hmm.
that's also the biggest argument against capitalism as well, that
Right.
the
I was coming to that.
advantage
Uh-huh.
that the advantage to defect is the biggest.
I think I was coming to the capitalism point only because I think we all here support capitalism, but right now we are actually talking against how people with money, what people with money do.
So okay,
Mhm.
I think there are problems with every system. You can there's there can never be a perfect system.
Right.
The latest theories from communists I'm hearing is everybody should have a camera, and
Okay.
the social credit score from China.
Okay. Yeah. That policy. Uh-huh.
They're pushing for that. Like the
What
parents
I
have a
do not
camera.
know about that.
So
What is this?
what China does is China owns every social media app, every like they monitor everything, right?
Right.
So based on your behavior, they give you a social credit score. So
Oh,
you yeah, so you get better loans, you get better subsidies if your social credit score is higher. I don't know if this is live, but
Exactly.
I
I don't know if
think
this actually implemented, but this is the
it
idea.
is actually it is actually an episode in Black Mirror, which has a very similar concept. Yeah,
mm,
not even
yeah,
Social
kidding.
points.
Like if you have a very low score, you are not going to get cabs even.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Did you guys hear the World Economic Forum's prediction of 2030?
No, what did they predict?
Mhm.
They said you'll own nothing and will be happy.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
You will eat bugs and less meat,
Hmm. Huh?
and
By
carbon
2030.
by 2030, and carbon. footprint will have huge penalties. Your
Okay,
carbon
so
footprint will come with a cost.
I think moving from India to Australia, which you now can't really do because there is a travel ban, and this has been in a lot of discussions because this is very unusual travel ban. Even though travel bans are quite usual now in this pandemic, but I think this is the first time Australia or any country has declared it an offense to come to their own country. So now what they're saying is anyone that's in India, even though their homes are in Australia or they have citizenship for Australia, they can't come back till 15th of May. After 15th of May, they'll review this decision. So it
So
can be
how is
extended.
that an offense?
They have said that because if you try to come back, you'll be jailed or you'll have to pay fine.
So have they banned any flights?
Yes, so every flight is suspended, and even if you tried to come to that place anyhow, maybe by your own
Okay,
charters
if
or
I
anything, you'll be
okay, if
fined
I
or you'll
take
be
a
jailed for
flight
that.
if I take a flight from India to any country from where you can you travel from any country to Australia right now?
No, so they have bans for almost every nation, not every nation, but almost
Every
for
nation.
majority of the nations. But this thing, which is considered a sort of criminal offense, is only for India. So
Only
if you
for
have
India
been in
because
India for more than 14 days,
uh,
you can't come back to Australia until May 15th.
what if you come to India, catch the virus on the very first day, leave on the second day, go to Australia
No, this was starting from
and
May
just
3.
spread
So
the
then my people might
virus
have
over
done
there?
this, but now you can't. Maybe
Okay.
that time people did this. They went on to Australia on May 2nd, but this was starting from May 3rd. So now you can't. So there are, I've read there are 9,000 citizens, Australian citizens that are now in India and they can't go.
Now they're stuck here.
Yes. And this is a common thing, I mean, in this pandemic, but the main problem is, which is why some people are saying that this is a racial discrimination also.
No,
It'll
it's
be an
not a
offense
racial discrimination.
because their argument is that there was a time, and especially in the first wave, that countries like Italy or European countries, they were the worst hit,
Right.
right? So that time also
Right.
Australia had restrictions, but not like these. So you weren't fined if you come back to your own nation. But right now, if you are coming from India to your own nation, you'll be fined or you might be jailed.
But at that point, every country had the coronavirus. Right now in India, there's a mutant, right? This is not a typical coronavirus.
Yeah, right.
There are different
Uh-huh.
symptoms. There are different symptoms, right?
Mhm.
And there's a reason why Australia is so successful in not letting the pandemic in restricting the cases in their country. They are not allowing other passengers from other countries to enter in their country only.
Yeah, so they did follow
There
the
is a
same
reason why it
protocol,
happened.
but the only difference was that if you are an Australian citizen, you could come back. You would have to go through quarantines and all of
Right,
that,
right,
15 days, strict measures,
right,
but you could
right.
come back. In this case, you cannot.
Yeah, because they are looking after themselves, right? And the cases in India, I don't know, this is a new range of corona, right?
Yeah, they're saying this is some
Like
different variant, which is
like
very
same thing happened. Like same thing happened when new symptoms started appearing in UK.
Mhm.
Do you remember? Start at the start of the year.
Right. Double mutant or something.
So yeah, it was something like that, and the flights only from UK were banned to most of the countries.
Mhm.
It is something like that only. I don't think it has to do anything with the race
No, so at
in
that time, what was happening
this
was
particular
that
situation.
if there is a way, or maybe even countries, for example, countries like India, they were trying to get people, even though the flights were banned, but we were trying to
Hmm.
get our people from different parts of the world to come back. They were facing quarantine measures, but we were taking them back.
Right,
But this
right.
time, Australia has said there will be a fine if you come back, even if you try to come back. So it's
Yeah,
not like you
how
cannot.
even will they even try to come back if they've banned the flights? I don't
Exactly.
understand
So that
this.
is why this is an additional thing which we have said that even if you try, for example, you try with your own personal plane, I don't know how, but even if you try to do that, you will be facing jail time or fine.
Listen, a person who is going over there by his own plane, I don't
Can
think he has any problem with the fine. Jail time maybe, but fine. Yeah, I don't think that particular person has any problem with that.
yeah, all of that is fine. They're talking about, they're saying that this extra thing that was added, that you'll be fined or you'll be jailed, this is a
Yeah,
racial discrimination to Indians living in
I,
Australia.
I don't see how that is a racial discrimination to the Indians because they are saying that the own citizens, the Australians are going to be jailed, right? Now they are not saying like that the Indians or the South Asians are going to be jailed.
Yeah, but the people who are
It
in
is
India right now are Indians who have Australian citizenships, and that is why they want to go back. So Australians from any part, for example, even America has banned it.
even if Australians go back, even if any Australian is in India right now, right?
Mhm.
They will also face the same consequences,
Right.
aren't they? So I don't think there is any racial discrimination. It's just anyone who's saying that there is a racial discrimination, they're just reaching for it.
So the main thing that they're saying it is racist is because they did not do it for any other nation when that nation was worst hit. But now that India is worst hit, they have actually declared it a criminal offense. You'll be fined, you'll be jailed if you come back to Australia.
I
So
don't see
people,
that.
okay, so people that are trapped here, they are saying that it's racist because they have been
They,
facing
they,
discrimination in Australia, and this is one more
yeah,
thing.
that is true. They have been facing, like, I've heard many stories about racism in Australia. So Australia is like, there's this Aussie comedian called Jim Jeffries. He says,
Hmm.
like, the whole Australia is a bunch of criminals being shipped from Britain, like, and they drink like crazy. So yeah, there is racism against Indians in
Yeah,
Australia.
there has
There
been some
was.
cases in the past where Indians,
Students were attacked, I think. Students were
yeah,
attacked.
students were attacked. Yeah, in the past, I have not heard in the recent past, in last 4 5 years, but there were some cases when I was in school when you used to regularly hear these cases. So there is a history of discrimination with them, but I don't think that this particular case of them being fined because they're coming back from India.
They just want to go back to the beach. All of the Indians stuck here. That's it. They're playing the victim card.
And the thing is that even people in Australia or some ministers in Australia have criticized this, but the Prime Minister says that we'll stick to this. And before he was saying that on May 15th, we'll review this. But now that there is a lot of pressure, he said that after May 15th, we'll be sending flights so that we can get those citizens back to Australia. So this will end on May 15th. This is what he said
Hmm.
latest. So by the way, they have very clear instructions. They say that this is a very strong mutant. We don't want it to enter Australia. And also, right now, the quarantine facilities that are using, they are actually rising up. So the people coming in Australia are increasing. The quarantine facilities are being jammed up. So they don't have those many beds in centers. So they decided to put a pause on all of this thing. So this is how they have
Hmm.
explained. But then obviously people who are suffering something, they won't, act practically or rationally. They'll think and say things emotionally. So maybe it's coming from the racial thing is coming from there because they're pissed, because they feel trapped maybe.
True,
Maybe.
true, true.
So I think we
We
just have
can't be.
one thing left in my list, and
What's
that is
that?
Ayush's favorite. Ayush can guess your favorite topic.
ESL.
ESL, yes. So
Oh
Dheeraj and I
my
have already
God.
discussed about ESL. So Dheeraj, things have changed now. We were talking about 12 founding members, 12 founding teams, and we were discussing the three more
Right.
will be added, right? But right
Right.
now, out of those 12, nine have officially renounced. So now they are not a part of ESL. And
Okay.
so they have an agreement with UEFA that they will face penal action, but they have now officially renounced ESL. So they won't be taking part. But we are left with three main, I mean, the other three, which are Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus. So they have issued a joint statement that we'll still stick to this. The structure needs a revamp and we'll be there with ESL. even though if it needs some restructuring, but we'll stick to this format. Ash, what do you think?
See, where Barcelona stands right now is Laporta has said that uh, it was signed and it was agreed upon that if the socios are those people who vote in the election process of the presidential candidates, right?
Mhm.
So if they vote that Barcelona has to stay in ESL, then the Barcelona will stay. And if they vote that no, we do not want to stay in the ESL, they won't stay in the ESL. It was already agreed upon. And if the socios have decided by voting that the Barcelona is not going to stay in the ESL, so they can leave the ESL without giving the 100 million price. That was the price tag, right? If you want to leave, then you have to give 100 million.
Yes,
To
right.
who? I don't know, but you had to give 100 billion. So right now the voting has not taken place. So Laporta cannot really say that because it is Barcelona and Real Madrid are not the clubs that they are the people's club essentially. They do not have any owner, so they cannot just give out any announcement like this that we are going out of the ESL right now. So
What do
they
you
are.
mean? What do you mean by people's club? Like, is it a publicly owned company or?
It is not a publicly owned company. But there is an election every 7 years or so. So you can say kind of like a democracy. You can choose who the president is going to be, but that president is only going to stay there for 5 or 7 years. I think for 7 years, and after 7 years, another election is going to. Like recently, in the month of March, our new president was elected. When I say our, I mean Barcelona.
Mhm.
Like usually a club is owned by an owner. Like in the most of the clubs, all of the clubs in England are owned by
Dheeraj, you were talking
owned by
about
a
American
particular
owners.
billionaire. Yeah, American owners.
Mhm.
So this is why the England fans are so pissed off that the FA has allowed to any the clubs to be sold to any billionaire who comes to their country, right? Like Chelsea is owned by a Russian man named Abramovich, and this team,
United,
Manchester United, is owned
Glazers.
by Glazers. And the
Right.
thing is, when Glazers bought United, uh, they did not have enough money to buy United, so they bought United on loan. So as soon as they bought United, they put the club in debt.
Mhm.
As
By the
soon
way,
as they bought
Glazers is a
United,
family. For those who don't know,
yeah, yeah, Glazers are the very rich family, and same
Blazers.
thing like
What?
Glazers,
Glazers,
Blazer?
Glazer.
Okay, where are they from?
America.
America.
No, no, where
Most
in
of
America?
these,
Where in
yeah,
America?
I don't know. I don't know about this.
Okay. Yeah, so you're
So
saying?
yeah, so Barcelona, this is where Barcelona stands. That there needs to be a vote, and the socials are not like 10 or 20 people. There are more than a lakh. If I am right, I can be totally wrong, but I heard it somewhere that there is like 186,000 people
Mhm.
who are the socios.
Okay.
You have to, if I'm right, it can be a totally wrong number too, but I read it somewhere. There are 186,000 socios of the Barcelona, and they have to vote upon it that if Barcelona is going to stay in the ESL or not, then
So you think
only
it's still
they
not
can back
decided?
out. Then only it can back out. Right now, Barcelona is in ESL, but if they decide, so Barcelona can back out of it. Then only can they can back out of it. And the thing is, the nine of the clubs who have already left the league, the European Super League,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
they
So they
have to
have
pay
been.
5% of the
Yeah.
revenue they will get from the European competition for the next 2 years, or only for the next year, man.
Only for one
What
season,
is it?
starting from 23-24 or 24-25, but only for one season.
Only for one season.
Only for one season. 23-20, starting
Okay.
from 23-20,
Um,
season 23-24.
so only for season 23-24.
starting from
And
season 23-24 only for one season. For example, like Arsenal, let's say, not like Arsenal, let's say
okay, if
Arsenal.
Arsenal miss
Yes.
the European season, so if they keep missing,
So that is why it starts from 23-24
spot.
whenever they get into European League, this European
Okay,
competition. So if for
right,
that
right.
season, they'll have to pay 5% of the revenue that they get from European
Okay, okay,
competitions.
okay.
And also
And
a combined fee will be used.
for the remaining three clubs, they are saying that they will ban them for 2 seasons, right? From the European competitions.
They have been saying and threatening that they will ban, but let's see if this happens or not. Because Perez, ESL president or chairman, you say, he has promised that
Yeah,
nothing like this will happen. So I don't know.
yeah. He also promised a lot of things.
Yeah.
That guy said, that guy really said that people who are 16 to 24 years old
They have lost.
found 90 minutes of games too long. I don't know where he got that number from. I do not know. Like, how much can you cut the game from 90 minutes?
Mhm. By the way,
It's already,
uh,
yeah,
no, I just have one question for Dheeraj. So, uh, among all this protest for ESL that was happening, this was majorly happening. So, the fans were protesting against the club that joined ESL. So, this was majorly happening only in England. So, do you
yeah.
see any reason for this? That only England fans were actually coming out and protesting. So, fans all around the world were not happy, but the the surge of protest was happening only in England. So, can you explain it with anything? I'm just guessing if you have anything to explain it. That why, or are they more entitled to their opinion or what? Because they have done all of this protest, and the pressure was so much that now that UEFA has fined them and they have backed out, the owners are
Hmm.
saying, for example, the United owner, they are saying that I'll pay it from my pocket, not from the club funds. I think Dheeraj was disconnected. Dheeraj, are you back?
I think Dheeraj is, yeah, is connecting. I think that in England, they have romanticized football to such an extent that I really do not think that the clubs backed out from the ESL because of the protest. I
Mhm.
really do not think so because they don't really care about the fans. The the owners of the clubs, they do not care about the fans. They only backed out because I do not think that there was any agreement between the UEFA and FIFA and them. They really thought that they will get away with it, and UEFA was really firm on saying that we will ban you from the domestic leagues of your own country, and FA and the La Liga, the league, right?
Mhm.
They were on side with the UEFA and FIFA. I really think that they miscalculated and misjudged how much uh, backlash they are going to get from the UEFA and FIFA because they don't really care about the fans. Uh,
But
Things
like,
like these happen,
uh,
right?
yeah, but they
The
were saying that
protests
these were the
happen.
legacies. These clubs were built by people, by
Yeah,
working class.
but
Football is a working class sport, and all of that.
see, the game has to evolve sometime, right?
Right.
They like 20 to 27 in 1992 and 1993, there was no Premier League, right? Which is the
Correct.
top tier league in the England. There was a league named as Championship, and which had 26 or 27 teams which played in that. And a similar concept then arrived that they will take not just six clubs, because there are top six clubs from the England which were going to be in the ESL. They said that we will make our own league with a total of 20 clubs, which was later named as the Premier League.
Right.
So right now, for us, it was a really bad situation because it was something new. And the only thing I think that is really wrong in this was that the top 15 clubs that they said, out of which three already backed out before the announcement of
Or they
that
did
there
not
was
join it.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, they did not join. It was that they were not they would not have been relegated from that league. that would have been wrong. Otherwise, I think that was a pretty cool idea that you are going to create a league where a big team plays a big team every week.
Yeah, but this is new for Europe. But I think in America, MLS, it's
Yeah,
already a closed league, right?
ML. Yeah, so if it is a closed league, MLS. The thing with MLS is only there are not enough teams in MLS for it to be an open league. First of all, that the thing is that
Mm-hmm.
there are not enough
Top
teams,
class teams, you mean?
top class, because football is not that big in USA. So there are not
Okay.
enough teams. Like in England, every
Uh-huh.
city has so many teams. I can't even tell
Right,
you.
right. In fact,
Like
London, we
London
know how many
has,
teams London, yeah.
yeah, we do not even know how many teams in London. There are like 4 or 5 clubs from London in only in the Premier League.
Premier League, right.
There are like 6 or 7 different basic leagues below Premier League, and there they play. And there are, so it doesn't work in America. That's the reason, because there are not enough teams. If
Mm-hmm.
there had been enough teams, then probably. And in America, usually they run the business. They run sports as business, right? मतलब in Europe, sports is a business, but it is looked as like
Sport
football
for
is
working
like
class
it is for
people,
the people. Yeah,
right.
but these American owners came to and they bought the clubs, and they thought that we will run it like business, because if it is a business, it is risk, right?
And
If there is
profitable.
a risk that if it is a risk that you are going to uh, get relegated from the Premier League, do you know that if you are relegated from the Premier League, you lose $40 million in the
Mm-hmm.
revenue.
Right.
You lose $40 million in the revenue. And I heard it somewhere that a total of 9 teams were financially dissolved after 5 years, within 5 years after being relegated from the top tier in the England.
Oh, okay.
So that is why they wanted to make it a closed league, so that they keep getting the revenue even if they lose, even if they came last in the league,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right? In NBA, if you are last in the league, you get more money you get like more money to buy better players to help your team. It is
Okay.
something like that. Something like that. I do not know if the exact rules, but if you are like, suppose the league is of 20 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are in the 12th to 13th position. So you might try to stay bad and come somewhere between 16 or
So you'll
20th
get that extra
position.
money. Okay.
Yeah, so you get something, you get an advantage for the next season. It's
Okay. I think Dheeraj
for the
can.
draft pick.
Uh-huh.
For the draft pick, so you can get the better players. You will get the first draft. Whoever is the best player in the league, upcoming player in the league, you will get a better chance to get them. Something like that.
How how is football not a business? Like
It is a
it
business.
is.
It is a business. It is totally a business. But it is the American owners which came, and of course Perez and the president of Juventus, Angelino Agni. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. So they see, when you run a business, you do not want a lot of risk, right? If your team, uh, I'll tell you an example. What happened with Manchester United? They had a deal with Adidas that they used to get certain amount of money every year. In 2012, they renewed their deal with Adidas. But in that deal, Adidas put it that if they do not make it to the Champions League, they will lose certain amount of the money. They will not get that much amount. Okay.
Mhm.
And earlier, before that, for 23 to 27, last 27 years, Manchester United was continuously in the Champions League, because Alex Ferguson was their manager. And they were a pretty good team back then. But after 2012, Manchester United only managed to reach the Champions League for 3 seasons. So they lost
Okay.
a lot of money. They lost a lot of money because of that. So they wanted to uh, create a league where there was no risk for them to lose any money, even if they play badly.
So that so like if they win or lose, they get paid equally in the ESL.
Even if they came last in the ESL, of course it would have been humiliating, but money wise, it would not have been a problem.
So the thing is, because I am running
I
it, whatever happens, I'll get the money, right? So those
Yeah,
15
even
clubs are
if
actually
it
running ESL. So whatever happens, they'll be getting the money, no matter they
so
lose or
yeah,
win.
they'll make a part of it, right? They'll make a part of the profit. They don't get they don't get the bonus if they don't win, right?
Yeah,
no no
because
no
if
no
you win, you get
yeah,
extra.
they don't win
If
the
you win, you get
bonus.
extra. That's the salary, right?
That's a bonus, but
Prize
the
amount or
the
bonus.
risk is the risk is here, if you do not stay in the league, you lose a lot of money.
No, so
So
for
you
example,
lose. So they
people are,
started their own league to make a chunk of the money that the whole league makes, right?
right,
So
Yeah,
they
even
didn't.
more than that.
So yeah. So
a lot more than that.
how is that reducing risk? I don't understand.
See, the
They
thing
started
is,
their own business,
if
right? There's
right, so
risk
the thing
in,
is,
yeah.
if let's say you're in a Premier League, so chances are that if you don't play well and you are in the bottom of the table, you'll be relegated. And by relegated, it means you'll go to the second division and you'll also lose money because you're relegated.
So
Okay.
you lose money from the sponsors.
Yes. And,
So
and
that
a
is
lot of
that
Not
things.
the
is that is
sponsors
that
and the
is
TV revenue money. Listen,
uh,
like if you are relegated from the league, you are in the second division of that country.
that has
Not a
less
lot of
views.
people watch. Yeah, it was a pyramid structure. So if you are in the second division of the country, you do not get that much money as you like you get in the first division. You lose a lot of money in that.
Okay.
So
The
basically,
TV revenue goes down.
yes. So basically, European football has a pyramid structure. You relegate, you get promoted, you get relegated. But the reason of forming this close group was that there is no concept of being relegated for those 15 founding members. Even if you're in the bottom of the table, you'll still be there in the league.
Okay. So my question was, how is football not a business? So they are running. So they are starting a new business to make more money, right?
Yeah, football is a
The
business.
American owners, yeah. So it's a people sport. Like every sport is a people sport. Like the like the sportsmen, so they don't play for themselves for to prove that they're the best athletes.
No,
They
what Ayush meant by saying people sport was, for example, if we consider United, it was formed by the people living in that area. The club was formed, not for competing like for main major league games. It was just formed for them to play, to be fit. And from there, the Manchester United that we know grew. Before it was a different name, but it was started by some local people living in that area. And then they started their own club and then it started growing. Then people came in and they bought the club, changed the name. And now it's this big. So the roots are
okay.
way back there. That is what he meant.
Okay, so it started as a community thing and then it grew
Yes.
into a business
Yes, right.
before the American intervention.
Right. And
So
this stands for majority of the clubs, especially in England. In the entire Europe
okay,
actually, but especially in England.
okay. So I don't see how Americans came in and turned it into a business like you guys
No,
are
I
making
think
it.
that was just a joke because it's not just Americans. We the owners are from different reasons.
Different countries. Like there are only 5 teams who have American owners. Like the Chelsea's owner is Abramovich. City's owner is a Sheikh Mansour. He's a Arab Sheikh, and Real Madrid's president is Perez. He's a construction worker, I guess. He not a worker. He owns a construction company.
Right, not a work.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yes, just something goes like this, and there is something really satisfying that these clubs, uh, the the people who decided, like who were the main, uh, who were at the forefront of this, the Juventus's president and Real Madrid's president, they are they thought that they do not want to play against the teams who usually are conventionally are not as big as them. You get my point?
Mm-hmm. So there's more risk of losing to a smaller team.
Yeah, and both of these teams risk not being in the Champions League next season
Okay.
because they are not performing so good. At least
Also,
Juventus.
right, and also because of this pandemic, every club is now in need of a lot of money, and ESL was
Yeah,
their ticket, golden ticket, you may say. It's still there for some clubs, for those three clubs. Let's see what happens.
let's see.
So before we
Okay.
close the discussion on ESL, I'd request you to say that line that you said while we were chatting for ESL. What exactly ESL is? You said one thing. Do you
What
remember?
exactly ESL?
You said
When can you remind me?
you said ESL is an entertainment without soul.
Yeah, you just said it.
So I think
I
this
don't have
very
any
well
other.
describes what actually ESL is, because I'll watch it for sure if that
Yeah,
happens.
I will watch it. I will watch it. Definitely, I'm going to watch it. But if you think about this, every other team who plays so hard the whole year so that they can be promoted to the next league, every player's, this is every player's dream, right? To of course to play in the World Cup, but apart from that, they want to play in the Champions League. But by creating a new league known the European Super League, that would have rendered Champions League uh, just another basic league. Like the Champions League from then on would have been considered as Europa League
Yeah, right. It's
because
basically
all
a
the
threat to
best
Champions League
clubs,
also.
yeah, because all the best clubs are playing in the Super League.
Right.
So that would not have been fair. And the thing is, the teams who are good, they would not have been given the opportunity to play in the best league in the world because the Super League would have been the best league in the world. No doubt about that. The best teams playing against each other every day, every week would have been nice. But whatever happened for the best. It should not have been formed, at least in that format.
Hmm. So, but they say that the UCL anyway required a change, which is why they were also coming with a new structure for UCL, which they actually have.
Only the owners of the clubs want to change because in the new structure, uh, every team will be playing 4 games more every year.
Yeah,
But the
it's still more.
players,
Hmm.
the nobody talks to the players about this. Like every player wants to play not that many games. Like Cruz says that every time that we are just puppets. We do not want to play that many games. We are just humans. Like you usually play if you are in the Champions League final, you are in the your country's cups final, and you play all the games in the league. You play around 60 to 63 games every in that particular season. That is a lot of games, and then if you keep adding more games, the players would be exhausted by the end of the season. Like you can see this year, because there was no proper gap between last season and this season due to the pandemic, a lot of teams are facing so many injuries. Players are not getting proper rest,
Right.
right? So if you add more games in between already a very tight schedule, you will be facing a lot of injury crisis. So I think the version that of the Champions League that is right now is very good, but the owners want to make more money, right? The only reason that can happen is to increase the number of games
Right.
so that they get more money from the TV
Viewership.
viewership and from the revenue from the when the people start going to the games, then from the stadium tickets.
So
Hmm.
about about calling something without soul. It is a very old tradition to. So, have you heard about this guitar player who played this song called Broadway of Mississippi, or Broadway in Mississippi?
What is the
Mm,
name of the player?
Uh, I don't remember, but he's one of the biggest blues player ever, and so he left his city and came back with like money and guitar skills. So everybody said he sold his soul.
Okay.
So anytime like anyone is trying to make more money, it's natural to call
yeah,
that
see, of
person.
course. Yeah, of course. The billionaires who are trying to make more money, they are billionaires for a reason, right? They want to make money. It doesn't matter to them how, and that is perfectly fine. Like there's no problem. There's nothing wrong in that. But as we said earlier, when it affects directly us, then we say that it is wrong. So
So
we
you're
love the
saying it
sport,
affects the viewers or the players?
the viewers and the players both, right?
So
Because the
how does it
players
affect?
will,
Yeah, so
because it's not fair on the players who play so hard every year and they do not get to play in the top league
okay.
if they
Well,
won't
most
get
of
to
the
play in the
money is
top league.
where
Yeah,
most of the
where
money is.
not even money, where most
Hmm.
like everyone wants to play against the best teams in the world, right?
Why?
And but what do you mean why? Do you not want to play against the best?
So there must be a reason, right, to play against the best teams. Do you want to play your best football or you want the best competition to prove you're the best in the world?
You want to play against the best teams in the world, right?
So there's a reason that it makes more money and like it gets more acknowledgement to the players.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing with ESL is they would have locked the league. Like the 15 clubs cannot be relegated. So only five clubs every year from whole of the Europe are entered in this club. The 15 club are there without any merit,
Hmm.
and the clubs
So,
who deserve to be in that place are not cannot be.
so it is unfair to the players who don't get selected in these top 15 teams.
Not in
No,
those top
he's
15
saying
teams.
unfair to the players because they will be getting more and more games to play, which is unfair to them because they have not been asked about this. For example, not only ESL, the new format that's now will be transferred. For example, USL will have a new format from I think 23-24 season. So in that format also the games will increase. And the main reason of increasing games is so that you get big teams to clash so that you make more money. But again, the players are not involved all these on these decisions because anyway, you like watching big teams play against each other, but then the players will have to play a hell lot of more games, which is not fair to them. So that thing is not fair
So
to
I
the
think
players.
their weekly wages will also increase. I'm not saying like weekly wages, but the amount, the number of times they get paid,
No, because
that should increase.
they are not paid daily. So
They're
if it's
paid
not if
weekly.
they, for example, if they're playing 5 games in a week, the amount will be the same even if they play just 2 or 3 games in a week. That won't increase.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah,
I,
obviously, if the entire league is printing more money, your club will get
The
more
players
money,
will
and
also.
you'll also get more money. So it's that circle. But the thing is, they don't want to play more games.
okay.
That is what some players say. Obviously, if they will, because they'll get more and more money. I don't know who will say no to this, but then again, depends.
I don't like so. I think bringing in more money in a sport makes it more accessible, and more people want to watch it because there are people backed up with like star-studded uh, images. So if Ronaldo wasn't like Ronaldo, I don't think Real Madrid would be where it is right now. They had to spend
Mhm.
that money to get Ronaldo, right? So they have to get that money from somewhere. Like Adidas, Ronaldo makes shoes with Adidas or Nike. Nike, right?
Yes.
So Nike has to make that money back if they're giving so much money to Ronaldo.
Hmm.
And it spreads the sport further. Like seeing Ronaldo with that watch or like seeing in him in such perfect shape, like calling him like the
Yeah, so no
uh,
one's telling you not to pump more money. The only problem with the ESL is that I think the main problem for me is it's now a closed league. So first month, second month, I'll definitely enjoy watching it, but then I'll be bored because I'll be seeing same teams again and again, and that'll take out the entire excitement from the game. Because I know how
the
important it is to watch Real Madrid play against Barcelona, but it
scarcity will decrease.
yes. So one reason it's very exciting is because it
Yes.
happens only 5-6 times in a year. But if it's
Mm,
happening every day or every week or every other week, then that thing will also go down.
I think that's a risk. That's a risk. Yeah, that's true. That's a risk they have to take in consideration before.
Right. Okay, so
So,
even
Okay.
hmm,
I'm just saying I got a pop-up saying running out of time.
Okay,
okay,
I think we should run this, end this.
Yes, okay, we'll wrap up.
sure.
Yes. So I think we'll do this more because this was fun, even though some topics were boring, but you never know. This
Yeah,
news
sure,
roundup
man.
thing.
Okay, sure, sure.
But one thing that still caught because again it caught my eye is birthing people that I've written in my notebook. I think I won't stop thinking about this the entire night.
What?
If we have any social studies listeners, please reach out. I'd like to understand. Like, I don't see how that it is inclusive.
A lot of things relating to this. There are a lot of things to talk about actually in this spectrum.
Mm, no, I understand if you want equal representation in the workspace, that
Mhm.
makes things more inclusive. But I don't see how this calling
Right.
it.
Okay. Okay. So
Mm,
we'll see. We'll keep this for later. For now, let's end
sure,
this. Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.